Erwin Smith was born to lose no matter how many victories he won. On the surface, Erwin Smith looks like the ideal hero of Attack on Titan. Tall, charismatic, intelligent, fearless. A commander whose voice could turn terror into resolve and death into duty. Fans admire him. Soldiers worship him. History remembers him as a legend. But strip away the myth, and what remains is a man cursed by leadership. Because being Erwin Smith doesn't suck because he dies. It sucks because he lives long enough to understand that his dreams are incompatible with his role. Erwin is not a tragic hero because he fails. He is tragic because he succeeds at everything except being human. Now let's understand a bit deeply. Before that, make sure to subscribe for more amazing content, or else you will never know how things actually are in AOT. Every soldier fights for something. Aaron fights for freedom. Mikasa fights to protect. Levi fights because it's all he knows. Erwin? Erwin fights for the truth. Since childhood, Erwin was obsessed with one question: what is the world really like? When his father questioned the government's narrative, the price was death. That moment didn't just traumatize Erwin, it infected him. From that day forward, Erwin's dream became dangerous. Not dangerous to others, dangerous to himself. The core conflict, Erwin's greatest internal conflict, is simple yet devastating. Is he fighting for humanity or for himself? This question haunts him relentlessly. Every charge he orders, every corpse he steps over, every speech that sends soldiers to die screaming his name. Erwin knows the truth. He is not a selfless savior. He is not a pure-hearted hero. He is a man using noble ideals to justify a deeply personal obsession. And that self-awareness is what makes his existence unbearable. Erwin also had the burden of command. Being Erwin Smith means never being allowed to break. Other soldiers can cry. Other soldiers can panic. Other soldiers can beg for mercy. Erwin can do none of that. Because when Erwin falters, humanity collapses with him. Leadership, in Erwin's case, is not authority, it's imprisonment. He must always be certain, even when he isn't, even when he's lying, even when he knows the plan will slaughter most of his men. He stands tall, voice unwavering, eyes focused forward, while inside, he's drowning in doubt. And the cruel irony? His men believe him because he sounds convinced, not because he is right. The lie that saves humanity. Erwin's speeches are legendary, but here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of them are lies. Not malicious lies, but necessary ones. He tells soldiers their deaths will mean something. He tells them humanity depends on them. He tells them their sacrifices will change the world. But Erwin doesn't know that. He hopes it's true. And hope is a terrifying foundation for mass death. Every time Erwin raises his arm and shouts, "Advance," he is gambling with human lives based on probabilities, not certainty. That guilt never leaves him. Consequence: the mountain of corpses. If Erwin Smith could see his legacy physically, it would not be medals or banners. It would be a mountain of bodies, friends, recruits, veterans, teenagers who trusted him. Each expedition costs lives. Each victory requires blood. Each step forward is paved with corpses, and Erwin remembers them all. That is why he drinks. That is why he stares into nothingness. That is why he rarely smiles sincerely. Because every life lost feels like a personal debt he can never repay. The most cruel irony: success makes it worse. Most characters suffer because they fail. Erwin suffers because he succeeds. If his plans failed, his guilt would end. If humanity collapsed, his responsibility would disappear. But every time he wins, the world demands more sacrifices, more soldiers, more deaths, more lies. Victory doesn't free Erwin, it chains him tighter. The basement, the dream that must be abandoned. The basement represents Erwin's entire existence. It's not just a location, it's validation. Proof that his father wasn't wrong, his obsession wasn't meaningless, his sacrifices had purpose. But reaching the basement comes with a cost. To reach it, Erwin must die. And this is where Attack on Titan delivers its cruelest blow. Erwin must choose. For once in his life, Erwin is given a choice. Live and fulfill his dream. Die and save humanity. And for the first time, Erwin lets go. Not because he doesn't want the truth, but because he understands something horrifying. If he lives, he will continue sacrificing others for himself. Choosing death is the only way Erwin can finally be moral. Consequence: death as redemption. Erwin's final charge is not heroic, it's confessional. He admits the fear. He admits the lies. He admits the selfishness. And then he leads the charge anyway, not because he believes they will win, but because his men need him to believe. In his final moments, Erwin stops being a dreamer. He becomes what he always pretended to be, a selfless leader. And the cost? His life, his dream, his truth. Impact. Why Erwin's story hurts so much. Erwin Smith is devastating because he mirrors real leadership. Real leaders pretend to be confident while drowning in doubt, make decisions knowing people will suffer, sacrifice personal desires for collective survival, carry guilt that no one else sees. Erwin isn't tragic because he dies young. He's tragic because he never gets to be selfish even once. Wyatt sucks more than any other character. Other characters suffer physically. Erwin suffers existentially. He questions his morality. He doubts his motivations. He despises himself for surviving. He fears his own ambition. He is trapped between wanting the truth, needing to protect humanity, knowing those two goals cannot coexist. That tension never resolves until death. The final cruelty is that Erwin will never know that Armin reaches the basement. Humanity learns the truth. The world expands beyond the walls. Erwin will never know. He dies inches away from vindication. And somehow, that's the point. Because Erwin's reward is not knowledge, it is rest. Now here's the conclusion. The man who could never live for himself. Being Erwin Smith sucks because you lead humanity forward while erasing yourself. You win battles but lose your soul. You inspire hope while drowning in guilt. You give meaning to others' lives while denying your own. Erwin is not the strongest soldier. He is not the smartest man. He is the loneliest leader. And that is why his story hurts more than any death in Attack on Titan. A quick question for you guys. If Erwin Smith had been chosen over Armin, would humanity have truly been saved? Or would Erwin have been condemned to a life even crueler than death? Subscribe for more amazing content, my soldiers. That's all for today. See you in the next video.